And so I got to man the desk all by myself. But we'll have a little bit of fun. And tonight, I think I want to talk about, well, if you were here last night, I cried a little bit. It's the first time we've done one of these where I actually cried a little bit. So you can check that out if you want. But I said we were going to talk about 10 choices that you will regret in 10 years. And so we're going to talk about that. But I also want to talk a little bit about a couple other random news things, because why not? This is kind of like turned into a little bit of a show. And so why not just run with it? So first thing on the list that I'm excited about, and that's kind of fun, is that we just found out that we are number 5 on the podcast charts in Iceland, which is pretty hilarious. So I don't know if any of you live in Iceland, but thank you if you've been listening in Iceland. So that's awesome. But yeah, that's really cool. I'm excited about that. We're actually, Dave Ramsey is number 3 and we're number 5 in Iceland. So that was kind of a fun thing that we found out. Next thing, some of you have been familiar or who have been kind of following along know that I've been working on a book, my first traditionally published book that I've ever done, and kind of going all in on the whole thing. And we sent it out to about 10 book publishers, and we have gotten 4 offers so far, and we're thinking we might get another 2 offers as well, which is really fun. So we're really excited about all the interest in the book, and I will keep you guys up to date with all of those details as we find out more about them. But I'm just really excited about it. The book writing process has been really fun for me, and I honestly didn't know that it was going to be. So I'm really excited, that it's going well and it's fun. And it's not as torturous as some people have made it to sound. Now, I'm not done. Now, I still have a long way to go before I finish this book, so I might change my tune. But so far, I've been working on the project as a whole for about a year, and just really excited about it and having a lot of fun. So one other random thing before we actually get to what we're going to talk about tonight is that, I don't know if you saw this today, but the Pentagon, this is just like completely random, but like, let's just go for it. The Pentagon just released 3 videos of UFOs and pretty much said, yep, these are UFOs. And whoa, what the heck? What do we do about that? And apparently, I was reading this article about apparently one of the people who used to be the head of something, the UFO thing in the government, said that they're glad they released this stuff, but they said that's just scratching the surface of everything that's there. So crazy. Anyway, all right. So let's talk a little bit about 10 choices that you will regret in 10 years. And I will have a link to the original article where this came from. And I actually have a few that I'd like to add, but I thought there were a lot of really good ones in here. And so I think we can just kind of touch on each of these. And I think there's a lot of wisdom kind of in this. And I'm someone who really likes to, whenever possible, learn from other people's mistakes instead of making them myself. And I've made plenty myself, so I've had to learn a lot of them the hard way. But whenever I can learn any other way, I like doing that. So anyway, so number 1 on this list is choice that you will regret in 10 years is wearing a mask to impress other people. And so I would say this as not being yourself. And this is tough, man. I feel like I've talked to a lot of friends who really, when being honest, understand how difficult it is to actually be yourself, because, just growing up around anyone who's not perfect, we tend to find ourselves shying away from our true self to mold and to conform to what is going to make this other person happy, what's going to keep us out of trouble, what's going to make us look better, what's going to make us more money, whatever, all these different things. And all of those things, I think, in most cases, pull us away from our actual true self. And I know for me personally, I've spent really the last decade really trying to figure out how to be my real self. And then especially like on video, or when talking to a crowd, when, and any of you who do this or have done this, like, what it's like. When you're talking to a crowd, you have a lot of people, you'll say things, and then someone who doesn't really know you, but just hears one thing that you say, judges you and makes judgments about who you are and your character, all based off of one thing that you say when they haven't heard whatever the 10,000 other things you say. And it's really hard. It's really hard when you're misunderstood. For me, I think it's one of the things I fear the most is just being misunderstood, and it's really hard. So anyway, all that to say, like, this point in and of itself, I just completely agree with, and it's something that I'm personally working on a lot. I'm just really trying to be my true and honest self, and whether people like it or not, it's like I am who I am by the grace of God, and just being comfortable with that. So before we get to point number 2, this should go without saying, but this is not going to be a lot of financial stuff we're going to be talking about here tonight. This is very much a little bit of a detour and a departure. So hopefully that's okay. And if not, I'm going to be myself, and I'm going to be fine with it. And so we can see you tomorrow if you want to talk about something a little more financial. All right, number 2 is letting someone else create your dreams for you. And I think certain personality types tend towards this a little bit more than others. I think there are certain people who are just fireballs who are going to chase their dreams regardless of what anyone else thinks. But I think there are a lot of people who tend towards people-pleasing and tend towards that kind of approach. And I think that makes a lot of sense to me. Looking back, 10 years or whatever, this isn't something that I have really struggled with, but I know people who have. And I can really imagine the closest thing I would say to this for me has been, that expression, I forgot who said it. I don't know who to quote for this, but basically quote that says something to the effect of, be careful when you're climbing the ladder of success to make sure that the ladder's not leaning on the wrong wall. And I've heard multiple people mention that they were chasing some dream, climbing some corporate ladder, whatever, and then they got to the top and they realized that this isn't where I want to be, And I've had some stuff like that in my life where I spent some years going down a path or climbing a ladder or whatever analogy you want to use, and determined that this is not what I thought it would be. This is not where I wanted to go. And I think the same thing applies to if someone else creates your dreams for you and kind of sets that path before you, when you walk down that for a decade, yeah, I can see being at the end of that 10-year period and feeling like, yeah, it's a bummer. I should have decided, or prayerfully decided what I should do rather than just doing what someone else wants me to do, All right, number 3 is choices that you will regret in 10 years is keeping negative company. And one of the things I respect about Warren Buffett is a mentor, not in terms of I know him or he's talked to me, and there's a lot that we don't agree on. Like I don't understand that. I don't think he's a believer, so we have a lot of disagreement with a lot of stuff there. But the guy does a lot of things really well, and there's a lot I've learned from him. And one of the things about business that I've learned from him is he says that and it is, you could say this is easy when you have whatever $150 billion or whatever his net worth is right now. I have no idea. But he says that he only works with people, business-wise, he only works with people who he enjoys and who he really trusts. And he doesn't work with negative people and unkind people. I forgot how he defined it, but basically he said life's too short to work with people I don't want to work with, and so I don't. And I was like, that's so good, because I've seen so many bad business deals where people got hooked up together just because they could make money, and then it ended up just backfiring. And it's like, it's just a good filter to think about, And so business is one aspect of this, but I think also friendship. It's okay that friendships change. It's okay that friendships have a season where there's a start and an end point to it. And I think we all, or a lot of us really crave friendships that will last our entire life. And I think that's beautiful when that happens. But I think it's also okay when they don't, and when people change, and when it's okay that you transition, out of it. And so anyway, yeah, if you find yourself with a relationship in your life that is an optional one, your spouse, it's like, all right, you need to get in there and you need to fight and you need to pray and, don't run away from that. But a friendship generally is an optional one that if you have some friends that are bringing you down and not lifting you up, it's like, maybe they aren't the best friends for right now. So, and I can see the long-term effects of, just having negative people around. It's really powerful. So, number 4 is being selfish and egotistical. Yeah, both of those things. Now I would add to this that I think both of those things are things that I don't know if we can change very easily in ourselves. So many of the negative characteristics that I've discovered in my own life and things that I didn't like weren't things that I could just instantly change, and so selfishness or greed or whatever the thing may be, those aren't things I think generally you can just be like, all right, yeah, it's a bad idea. I'm not going to be like that anymore. I think they're generally things that as you spend more time with the Lord, as you get in the Word more, then He begins to change them in you from the inside out. At least in my experience, that's how it's worked. So I think the answer to this one is to just get closer to Jesus and watch Him change you from the inside out. Our number 5 on this list is avoiding change and growth. And I love this one. I am a lifelong learner. I have been a self-proclaimed lifelong learner for a long time, and I love growing. I actually love criticism. And I need to throw a caveat on there. When communicated the right way, in kindness and love, and not in a whatever, you're horrible, you're ugly, and I hate you, and your podcast sucks. Not like that, but I actually really enjoy criticism. So like I was saying about the book publishing thing, so we reached out to 10 book publishers, and we've had interest from 8 of them. So 2 of them have said they're not interested, but 8 of them have said that they are very interested, and we've gotten offers from 4 of them. We expect to get offers from another 2 or 3. And I went back to the one who said they weren't interested, just said they weren't interested, but the other one who said they were interested gave me a little bit of feedback, which kind of hurt just a little bit, but it actually was really good feedback. And I think... And I appreciate that they said it, because I think it's going to make the book better. And, and it would be harder to swallow if none of the other publishers were interested in it. And that was the first thing I heard, was just this negative thing and saying whatever they said. But I actually think, because I've worked really hard to stay open to negative feedback and to see and to ask the question, what can I learn from this? Is there some truth in here that I can take from this? And because I was able to do that, and I'm not always able to, but this particular instance, I feel like I did it pretty well. I think I got some gold that's going to help make the book better. And I don't know if that was their intention or not. Because to be honest, I've gotten some cruel feedback from people. This is just part of making a living on the internet, just comes with the territory. But some of it has actually really helped me a lot. It just helped me see things that I wasn't seeing. And again, like I said, I always love when it comes in a little bit of a softer, more gentle package. But surprisingly, that's pretty rare. It's a rare day when I get someone emailing with some constructive criticism and saying it in a kind and loving way. Most of the time, it's wrapped in expletives, just so you know. And anyway, so all that to say, I think that this is so important for us to grow in the Lord and to become who God designed for us to become. I think change and growth is all part of that. I think this is just a journey that he leads us on, and just getting comfortable with change, getting comfortable with being uncomfortable is just a really important part of it, I think. All right, number 6, giving up when the going gets tough. So really just giving up, I guess, anytime. But in the article, the guy says there are no failures, just results. And I completely agree with that. I've talked about that a whole bunch, but I don't view failure as, I honestly don't. I had this a list of daily affirmations that I was making for years, and I kind of got out of practice, and I want to get back into it. But one of the things that I would say on a daily basis is that I cannot fail as long as I'm learning from what just happened. And so, and I talk about this a lot with the business. I view it as a series of, I'll call them failures, but honestly not failures, where so much of what I've done over the last 12 years with our business has just been trying one thing after another and it not working, and it not working, and not working, and not working, not working, and just all of that over and over and over again till I get to the point where something does work, and it's like, oh wow, that was fun. That one actually worked, And it's a numbers game. And this is a whole nother thing. I think I want to write, I don't know, something about this or do a video about this, but there are so many things. I remember reading in a sales book, and I've never been a salesman or salesperson, whatever. But I remember reading this one sales book by, I think, Zig Ziglar or something, and he was talking about the rule of 10 or something. I forgot what he called it, but basically what you need to do, if you're a door or salesman or whatever, you need to count your no's. And so he would work under the assumption that 9 out of 10 people are going to tell me no, but one person is going to tell me yes. And so if you go and you have 9 people tell you no in a row, it's okay. The next one, and not every time, but in general, 1 out of 10 for him was going to be a yes. Those were the numbers. And so it's a numbers game where you just get out there and do it and count your no's because they're just leading to your yeses. So rather than being incredibly discouraged after 9 no's, you just keep going. And that's how I have felt so much of our business has been, where it just feels like, man, I tried that didn't work. That didn't go how I wanted. And this thing didn't go how I wanted, but you just keep trying things. And eventually something works. And sometimes it works really well and it just surprises you and knocks your socks off. And that's really fun when that happens. But if you hadn't gone through all those, quote, failures or things that didn't go as well as you wanted, you most likely wouldn't have gotten there. And, there's so many fantastic business owners and really successful businesses that had to go through this, had to have business failures on the front end before they got to the big success. So I think that's really, really powerful. All right, number 7 choice that you'll regret in 10 years is trying to micromanage every little thing. And he goes on to say, life should be touched and not strangled. Sometimes you have to relax to let life happen without incessant worry and micromanagement. And I think as a believer, this ties into our walk with God a lot and trusting Him and trusting in Romans 8:28 that He's going to cause all things to work together for our good, who are called according to His purpose. And so when you know that, and you can walk through life knowing that He's going to work out the bad for our benefit as well as the good, you can, it makes it a little bit easier to relax and to not micromanage everything. But this is something that I think, man, is a struggle for me. I know it's a struggle for Linda. We both wrestle with this a lot because we're both planners and we both tend towards wanting to be in control of things. And there's just something about, letting go a little bit. And I feel like, again, so much of a healthy walk with God is an ability to let go of things and not grab the reins too tight, but to trust that God is ordering our steps where we need to go. So, number 8 is settling for less than you deserve. And this one, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm not a big fan of the big hustle movement, and this kind of ties into the previous point, but especially not a big fan of the fight for your rights, fight for what you deserve movement. That doesn't feel very biblical to me. My understanding of what I read in the Bible, particularly the New Testament, leads me to fighting for other people and fighting for the rights of other people and fighting for the rights of the less fortunate, but not fighting for our own rights, not vindicating ourselves, but letting God vindicate us. And so anyway, so I don't know exactly what he means here, but yeah. All right, number 9, endlessly waiting until tomorrow. I think this is a great one that a lot of people will regret. I think every season of life, it's easy to look into the next season and be like, oh, I can't wait for that. And the next season, I can't wait for that. And I've just noticed this over and over again. So I'm single and it's like, oh, I can't wait to get married. And now I'm married and can't wait to have kids or have babies. And it's like, now I have babies. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait till they're a little bit older. And I'm sure, I've just been through this enough. And, any of you can comment and confirm that I'm not alone in this. But yeah, I think that's just part of it is just knowing that, yes, there's something great on the other side, but how can we enjoy this season? How can we make the most of this? How can we, just make this really precious and enjoy it and not wish away today, And that's something that has been really something I've been striving for a long time. Because I've had a couple mentors give me a heads up on this, especially about babies and just enjoying this phase. And it's like, man, it's so hard. Like our almost 3-year-old is at the hardest age any of our kids have been at, because our oldest one, when he was 3, was not nearly as difficult. And so it's just, I'm like, I have to work so hard to enjoy these moments with her where she's just really being challenging. But I know, and again, so many of you in the comments, you can let me know. I know that I'm going to blink my eyes and then I'm going to be walking her down the aisle and I'm going to be thinking back to this time and just wishing, man, I wish I would have hugged her more. I wish I would have enjoyed more of that. And so anyway, so I am trying and I am fighting with everything I can to try to enjoy those moments. And just not wish my life away, and even the struggles and the challenging things. It's like I've gone through long seasons with health struggles, and I watched Linda go through some stuff that was really, really painful for her, but then also for me because I felt helpless and I didn't know what to do. And all I was, I just wanted to wish her out of that. But in that, like I saw God do so much miraculous stuff in her heart and in her life. And it's like, what do you do with that, So anyway, that's something that I'm working on a lot, and I really don't want to get to any point in my life where I'm regretting just not enjoying the present and not enjoying the day that I'm in, I love that verse. I don't know the reference, but today is the day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it, So every day is a gift, and I really want to enjoy it that way. Number 10 is being lazy and wishy-washy. I don't think this is the strongest one to end on, but this isn't a really difficult one for me because I don't. I'm a little bit of a fighter in terms of just going after things, and I don't have a problem working hard. That's just kind of how I was raised, how I'm hardwired, whatever. And so I'm not someone who, a lot of people say they go and work from home and have a hard time getting anything done. And I'm not. Like, it's challenging with the kids, but in terms of me actually wanting to spend time working, like, I don't have that problem. But that said, like, I want to, be able to say that I gave it my all. And whenever I'm doing something, I want to be able to say that I did it with the utmost of excellence that I could. I was just talking to a friend, an author friend. I'm calling a lot of author friends right now, asking for advice as we're in the middle of this book thing and just asking him, and that's exactly what he was saying. He's like, I wanted to make sure that I just laid it all out there and I wrote the best possible book I could write. And so 10 years from now, when I'm looking back at that book, I can know that I poured everything I had into that. I made it as good as I could possibly make it. And he's actually not a believer, but I would say this falls under that category of working heartily unto the Lord and not unto men. And so it's easy to, to just let's see things in the natural and just see, well, this is what I can get away with because of these circumstances, whatever. Maybe no one will see it. Maybe the boss won't see it, whatever. But at the end of the day, like God sees everything. And if we're really working heartily as unto him and trust him to be our promoter and the one who lifts us up and exalts us, I don't know. I think it makes a lot of sense. So anyway, so there's a whole bunch of other things that I would add to this, honestly, and maybe I'll do my own, where I'll write out my own. But I thought there were a lot of really good ones on here I just wanted to touch on. So first off, so if you like any of this and if you're enjoying it, hit the like button. Let me know. And I would love to hear any ones that you would add to this. What are the things that you would regret in 10 years? What are those regrets? And not that you have them, but I'm trying not to do this because I don't want to regret this in 10 years. And Laura says, this is so funny. Laura, her husband sees my Telecaster back there. Yeah, that is, I have 2 guitars now. I used to have a whole bunch of guitars. I used to play a lot. I was a worship leader for a long time at our church. And I haven't really done any music. This is so ironic, but since I moved to Nashville, I've done no guitar stuff. I've literally picked up a guitar like 2 times since I've been in Nashville. So funny, so weird, but that's my old Telecaster. I actually built that, bought the body off of eBay. I think I bought the neck somewhere and then put some really awesome pickups in there. Great pickups, I love them. And got some really good tuners up here. Anyway, it's a great guitar. I love it. And it's this little tuxedo thing, so it's got like the white rim around it. It's really nice. Anyway, so this is something that could be fun. I was thinking about this. So Linda actually has a beautiful voice. And so I think we should play you guys a song sometime. So we'll see about that. I'll see if I can convince her. Anyway, all right, I'm going to fly through these comments real quick. So, if anybody has any questions, hit me up now, and we can go from there. Okay, I'm just trying to see if there's any questions in here. Hey, Zeke the Penguin. Hey, Bob, love your videos. Thanks, Zeke or Zach. I don't know what that is. Sean says, congratulations. Thank you. Let's see. Hi, Patty. Hi, Jay Evans. Hi, Carrie. Carrie says, I feel like I rushed my kids when they're babies. Man, I know. I feel like that too. I mean, I'm trying so hard. To just enjoy every moment. And, this is another random thing, but I'm trying to, I want to take pictures, but I really just want to not take pictures of everything. I want to, I don't know, somehow create this mental experience that I can just hang on to that is richer and more vivid than a picture or a video, if that makes sense. And I don't know if I'm getting too out there. I don't know, but that's what I want to do, because I feel like there's a tendency with the smartphone era for all of us to constantly be taking pictures of everything and watching the screen of what's happening rather than actually seeing and experiencing the moment. And that's another thing I don't want to do. So I got a lot of things I'm trying to avoid. All right. Being in the moment. Good tips. Thank you, Laura. Yeah. So where is Linda and the kiddos? Yeah. So for anybody who wasn't here at the very beginning, so Linda she's got a little bit of headache today. So she's laying in the room back there, in the dark. Watching something. I don't really know. And she'll be better tomorrow, but, yeah. Pam says goals. Tell me more, Pam. I know you're probably referencing something I said, but I didn't see it when it came in. May says, have Linda sing for us. All right, so here's a little secret for you. If you don't know, you probably don't know because we never talk about this. Anyway, Lynn and I have actually recorded some songs, and this is probably like 6 or 7 years ago, so they're pretty old. But I will post this in the comments if I can. So you can look up Latria, Latria, and you can look us up on Spotify. We put a few songs up there. We covered "Holy, Holy, Holy." We covered "I Love You, Lord." What else did we do? I forgot. I think 2 other songs. But anyway, so yeah, it's only like 4 songs, but we recorded these a long time ago. But you can check them out if you want to hear them. But we might do a song for you guys sometime. That'd be fun. Fun and random. Anyway. Yeah, Lisa, I don't know if it's allergies. I'm not really sure. It might be hormonal for her. She's dealing with some hormonal stuff. So it could be that. I'm not really sure. But anyway. Yeah. Thank you, Joy Love. Just subbed. Yeah. Anybody else who hasn't subscribed, hit that big button, hit the bell, and then every time we post something, you'll hear it. Because if you don't, YouTube might not tell you about it. Because all these platforms are like, oh yeah, we want you to pay to reach everybody who actually wants to hear from you. So anyway. All right. Well, Pam, I'll answer your question and then we'll call it a night. So Pam says, what are your personal business goals and where do you see the Lord bless? I'm assuming that's blessing you. All right. Well, this could be a long answer. I'll try not to go too deep here, but leading you. Okay. Man, I have had a back and forth relationship with goals. Trying to think how far to go on this, but I think there's a whole lot of power in setting goals. There's something to it, and I wrote an article on my site on Seed Time, so you can just search for Seed Time goal, why you should set a goal or something like that if you want to read it, but I won't go into all that now. But anyway, I've been a long advocate of goals, but there are times, or at least for me, where I feel like I need to not set any goals and intentionally just try to or make my goal just to follow what the Lord has for me today type of thing and just do that. And so I go back and forth between these different seasons of having really lofty goals and then a strategic plan to get there, and then other times where it's I intentionally let go of goals and let go of the to-do list to really just kind of follow him day by day type of thing. So yeah. So anyway, I'm in one of those seasons right now where I don't have any super specific goals right now in terms of the business and somewhere we want to be. I'm intentionally not setting big number goals. I'd love to see us hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, and that'll be fun when that happens. But I'm not it's not this big massive goal that I'm chasing, And the same thing with revenue goals. They're uninspiring to me, and I don't like operating like that. It's taken me a while to realize that, but I don't like operating like that. But what I want to do, if I have a goal right now, it's to, and this was something that honestly came out of the sabbatical a couple years ago. It was to go deeper with more of you and help more of you just have more massive impact in your life rather than reaching more people and having a shallow impact. So part of that has been why we have been creating courses and why I'm the emails that I get from people who go through our courses are so much more precious to me than people who will read one of our blog posts or watch one of our videos. And it isn't that when we create a video or when we create a blog post or whatever that it's not valuable. It's just that with the course, I don't know, there's a level of commitment, there's a level of depth of training or something. I don't really know, but yeah, the emails that we get from people who are saying that we helped them change their life, they come out of people who are in our courses. And that, for me, is what I am after. So if I want to collect anything, it's that. I want to collect emails from people who say, man, you guys have helped change my life because of this. And I'm not saying all of them. Like, I've gotten emails from some of you guys too who have been like, faithful subscribers and viewers to the videos, and some of you have said stuff like that, and I absolutely love that. So I'm not at all saying that like you have to go through our course in order to do that. I'm just saying that the tendency seems to be that I get a lot more of those from people who we really go deep with. And so that's been part of my mission and part of my personal and business goals, I think, is how can I go deeper with more people and help them make massive life change? Because for a while, the first years of the business, I was all about tapping as many people on the shoulder as possible, like using that kind of analogy. Whereas now it's like I want to hug and I want to have a real conversation and really get to know each other better and really just dive deep with people. So that's why we've been doing more courses, and that's why we honestly push the courses. That's why we do them and why we're going to keep doing them, because that's where we're seeing kind of what God is blessing and what's working. So anyway, all right. Okay. Wow. A few more questions came in. So May mentioned ginger tea for headaches. Yes, definitely. Would love you to tell about your pursuit of music and the reasons for letting it go. Okay. I can maybe talk about that real quick. I feel like I lost all my goals since I got married. Yeah. Heyman Band said just subscribed. Awesome. Sheila says, that's amazing. Real Money Budget, of course, is so great and so helpful. Thank you, Sheila. Appreciate that. All right. Yeah. So I'll answer, Mark, I'll answer your question real quick. So, I don't know if I don't know if I've talked about this, Mark, because you're hitting on something that actually was a big sacrifice for me. About 5 years ago, pretty much we released a few songs on Spotify and YouTube, and they actually did like really good on YouTube. We've had two of the songs that have had like over 1 million views. Like one of them has like over 2 million views and stuff. And anyway, all that to say, I realized that at that phase in my life, when we were I was a lot more interested and serious about pushing forward with music. I just felt like, I don't know, I just felt like I was supposed to set it down. And I don't know if it's forever. Like, I really hope that there's a day soon when I can kind of get back in, and I really love it recording. So I'd love to kind of record some more stuff. But that's one of the things I'm just trusting God, and it was laying something down for sure, and it was a sacrifice and something I didn't want to do personally, but I felt like I was supposed to, and I felt like I was spreading myself too thin to do either or any of the things I was doing well, and so I set it down. And honestly, as much as I've missed it, I've also greatly enjoyed setting it down. So it's just been kind of a little bit of struggle, but also really grateful that I have. So anyway, that's a little bit of the answer for you, Mark. All right. So let's see. A few days ago, you mentioned seeing the college education experience be replaced by courses more specifically related to your interests. Yeah, I would love to see you do an episode on how you help your kids navigate that. Yeah. I'm homeschooling and we'll have a freshman next year. I'm interested in what suggestions, you would have in helping lead a child in that direction. Yeah. So I'm on the, front end of this. And so, you got to take everything, all my thoughts with a grain of salt. Like, I'm literally not even an entire year into homeschooling, and we have a 6-year-old as our oldest. So I have a long way to go before I'm where you are. But, that's something that is on my mind a lot. And actually I have a couple of homeschooling friends who have been really helpful with some ideas, things that they're sharing. So maybe we can do something like that. All right. Lisa said, I would love if you led a Bible study course of some sort. Yeah. So we have I actually co-wrote a Bible study, a few years ago, and, so you can check that out. It's on Amazon. I think that's the only place we have it right now. It's called God and Money. And there's a lot of books called God and Money. But if you look under each one of them, it's Joe Plemon and me who co-wrote that. And we can maybe do that sometime. Yeah, we could maybe do that. That might be a good idea. I think that would be a good idea. So thank you for the idea. And you're not the first one to mention that either, Lisa. So anyway, course on listening to God's direction. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea too. Like we've been thinking more about that. Like, yeah, I feel more comfortable doing courses on like super tactical step-by-step things where I feel like you do this and you'll get this result. Like I feel a lot better about that than a little bit more of the squishy stuff like that. But I know there's a whole lot of value in that either or as well. And so, I think we can definitely think about that. All right, Lourdes, I'll answer your question, and then I'm going to go. All right, what have you learned from incorporating business with your faith? I could talk about this for like 6 hours. There's a whole lot here. But I think the biggest thing is that, and this might be obvious, maybe it's not, but the Bible talks a lot about business. So it talks a ton about money, but there's a lot of business principles in the Bible, and that's interesting to me. And maybe we could do a video about that as well. That might be interesting. But yeah, the biggest takeaway, to me is, so like Joshua 1:8 is one of my favorite verses. And Psalm 1 is one of my favorite chapters. And both of them basically talk about how meditating on the Word is your pathway to success. And neither one of them specifically go into this, but there's plenty of other Psalms that talk about the idea of there are people who sprout up like grass and who don't last. But if you want to be an oak tree, it might take a little bit longer to grow than a grass or than a tomato plant or whatever. But an oak is going to be standing for decades and decades to come and is ultimately going to bear a whole lot more fruit. I mean, in this case, acorns, but if it's an apple tree or whatever the thing is, and I think there's something just really powerful and to be said for that. And so for me, it's how can I continually stay in the Word, stay grounded, and trust in God's ways and God's methods rather than the methods of man. Because it's so easy. We live in an era where everybody has tactics and everybody has their own thing. And I think, and I think there's a lot of benefit to that. And, and I'm not at all saying there's anything wrong with sharing ideas or anything like that. But when you are trusting in other people's ideas rather than trusting in the Lord, I think you're getting in dangerous territory. And so anyway, all right. So that's all for now. Thank you all for coming to hang out. We will do it again tomorrow night. Linda will be back and feeling great. I am sure of it. And appreciate you all. Be blessed, be a blessing, and we'll see you soon.